think ultimately when you're talking about the fact that he is a son of a NFL Hall of Famer and he went to the Miami University, I think there's clearly some entitlement sociopath thing going on here where he's taking advantage of homeless people and people who he thinks aren't going to roll on him or people that he thinks nobody cares about.
Also, does CTE come into play? Because it reminds me of the Aaron Hernandez situation where, like, this dude was mentally off even before. But
I think maybe,
like,
for sure.
He's all like, this isn't a normal human being.
For sure.
Because he's had head issues and been eccentric since college. And he said stuff in college and the pros where, like, people are like, fam, you're not a soldier. You're just playing football. Like, his head was on another level anyway. So, like, you have to, like, psychologically evaluate a guy
Here
like
it is.
that.
Here's a doctor, social scientist and professor of psychology at UCLA specializing. This is the expert they quoted in the article from SI. You would think he'd have access to any number of women, but our research indicates that sexual arousal to power over women, arousal to being able to subdue women, hostility towards women are parts of an entitled narcissistic personality. These are the primary risk factors for a man becoming a rapist. Men of privilege are often the greatest at risk. Think of a lot of the men who have recently been identified in the Me Too movement. I mean, I think even looping him into the Me Too movement is a stretch because
that
this
dude
is something
that's
even
a one-off
worse.
guy.
He's literally doing this to strangers. He's not even doing this to get an advantage or to take advantage of them.
He's a danger to himself.
He
and
can't
the
control himself,
and
he's
somebody
probably going to get his ass beat in prison or be in solitary confinement for 20 years.
He's probably going to beat somebody up too because he's a huge guy. But the problem is, somebody dropped the ball somewhere years
I might
ago.
be a 30 for 30 on
That's
all
what I'm
those
saying.
Brown teams in the 2000s.
Bro, that's another story. A former safety on the team, ex-Florida safety, since we're just going to stay with Miami and Florida football. Former Florida Gator safety Antonio Joyner was arrested Saturday and charged with second-degree murder in the 2016 death of his wife, Hazel Obando. Brooke Battinger and Melissa Montoya of the Fort Myers News Press, USA Today, reported it. And he's the second member of the 2007 Gators football team to be charged with murder. Obviously, the first one was Aaron Hernandez. That shit is wild, bro. Like, how is it that two starters on that team, both convicted of murder, all the arrests that happened with that Florida team,
it's crazy.
all the transfers they've had recently, like Chris Steele left because one of the dudes on the team was facing.
Damn, and his wife is beautiful.
That's all you gotta take away from that.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's just sad. I feel bad for her that she has to get dragged through all this shit.
Wait, you talking about Winslow's wife?
No, Aaron Hernandez. Oh.
No.
Aaron Hernandez.
I wouldn't go that far, but no comment.
Yeah, no comment.
I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about Winslow, but yeah.
But I'm saying it's another
tight
Florida
end's a
player.
crazy position.
Yeah, and apparently if you played football at Florida, something might be off with you.
All right, man, let's move on. We got a lot of more shit to
Football
talk
news?
about. Sure, if you can make it quick.
Yeah. Okay, so as I said last week, Brew McCoy, and I said it on Touchdowns and Tangents Overtime on our Anchor channel. You need to go listen to all that stuff because it's very in between the lines and give you some news during the week. But, yeah. So, Brew McCoy, 5-star receiver, and Chris Steele, 5-star cornerback, enrolled at USC. They're going to have to go through the trials to see if they can be eligible to play this year, but most likely it'll probably be like a redshirt year. Who knows? With Chris Steele, he said he's going to go to Oregon. A lot of people in the transfer portal. There's more issues with the transfer portal. 3 safeties from West Virginia entered the portal within like hours of each other. Like in 36 hours. 3 scholarship safeties left, including a starting safety. It's kind of it's weird. The trend we're seeing, more cats are just open to transferring and just being done at certain schools. Luke Ford, tight end out of Georgia, who transferred to Illinois. He was the number one tight end, I think, in the state of Illinois at the time, a couple of years ago, like 2016, 2017. He was denied his voucher, essentially, to not lose a year and sit out the year. He wanted to be closer to his ailing grandparents, and the NCAA denied that request. But they accepted Tate Martell's request and Justin Fields' request for transferring from Georgia to Ohio State and Ohio State to, Miami for Tate Martell. Essentially, Tate Martell lost the starting job and wasn't really going to ever win it, and went to Miami and was granted a waiver to play immediately. But this dude who wants to be near his ailing parents, and the NCAA does this all the time. It just really kind of is annoying and frustrating. And yeah, also you have former Auburn coach Terry Bowden, who, if I'm not mistaken, is currently Akron's head coach, taking an unpaid internship at Clemson to be a grad assistant. Also, you have Frank Gore's son. Frank Gore's son committed to play at Florida Atlantic University, who is the head coach of Florida Atlantic University, Lane Kiffin. So Frank Gore's son will be playing for Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic University.
Which is actually not a good move, because Lane has been low-key putting people on in late rounds.
Yeah, Devin Singletary. He got put on. USC agrees to a 10-year contract to name the LA Coliseum for United Airlines. Yeah. So, the stadium itself, the field is protected. It'll be United Airlines Field at the LA Memorial Coliseum. And United Airlines will keep in the funding a $350 million restoration of the LA Coliseum itself. USC's interim president, Wanda M. Austin, said that, they're pretty much honored, and that's what the field's going to be called. And the Rams are set to begin play at the LA Stadium at Hollywood Park in 2020, but they've been playing there since, so it will be called United Airlines Field. It's pretty much it for college football.
All right. Thank you for that. That was nice and sweet. I like that. So, next up, man, we got to take our tangent. Let's try to get through this quick because we're running out of time.
Oh, and the Texas A&M DB got arrested on assault charges after arguing about a taco.
That's a lot. We argue about tacos.
What is a taco? We literally got no argument about that.
All right, man. First up, we got Trevor Lawrence, Clemson QB, basically saying he never sit out a bowl game. As we've talked about, it's becoming a trend. So you got to take her tangent on him saying that.
It's easy to say that now after you just made Alabama your bitch and won a national title.
It's easy to say that now when you're 2 years away from a paycheck.
Oh, yeah. And wait, let's say if one of your receivers.
26 games.
Let's say your starting receiver.
26 chances of getting hurt.
Let's say if you're. Oh, that doesn't even include practice and spring ball. You can tear your ACL in a non-contact drill. No one could touch you.
And those are the worst ones.
Oh, and also let's look like Teddy Bridgewater. His knee's never been the same. We could also look at, the fact that his head coach, Dabo Swinney, swears that college players don't deserve to be paid and that if they want to be pros, they can go
Andrew
be pro.
Yang thinks NCAA players should
I
get
swear I will punch you in the throat.
I'm just saying, he does. It's in his policies.
Are you being
can check
paid
his website.
by Andrew Yang?
Sounds like
you on
somebody's
the
on
take?
the Yang gang.
Are you on the take, bro? Because if you're getting bread under the table and not telling me, I'm going to be really upset.
All I'm doing is stating the facts. It's on his website.
Sounds like a conflict of interest because you keep saying his name. Sounds like payola.
Hey.
I don't condone payola on this podcast. But I do condone friend reparations. Shout out to Mancini.
Are you going to pull a Joe on me and get mad because I'm not sharing the Yang gang bread with you?
Yeah, I'm really upset. Let me find out you got new shit. Let me find out you got like...
You ain't going to leave me hanging?
Fam, don't say leave me hanging to a black guy. especially like off the air. Like I didn't properly.
Wow, I
We're
didn't
on
get-
the air.
yeah, I
It
didn't
sounded
get
weird.
that. Yeah, you made it
I
way
know,
more
I
weird.
made it
You
way
really
worse.
did.
You made it
Yeah.
way more weird.
That is
All
true.
right. On that note, next up, man,
Now we're not talking about that anymore.
Steve McNair, Eddie George are officially getting their numbers retired by the Tennessee Titans.
Clap that up.
Take or a tangent.
Next, they need to retire 28 because Chris Johnson was better than Eddie George.
Facts. And Zeke is definitely better than Eddie George.
We know Zeke was. A lot of people were better than Eddie George. Don't shit on Eddie George.
That 2003 Madden
He's an
cover
actor on
athlete.
Broadway now.
Yeah, and he didn't have game-breaking speed with the Titans and definitely didn't have it with the Cowboys. He should have been playing fullback for the Cowboys.
That's disrespectful. Why is it that running backs who are slow but had good break tackle? Like Marion Barber was the perfect.
I'm telling you, the era was different, bro.
Like
The
nah,
era
you
was
could always
different.
get that fullback trap in Madden is a cheat code.
Bro,
and
running backs
crossover.
don't even be breaking tackles like they used to like that anymore.
It's a different game. Cats are smaller. Like the linebackers are smaller. The defensive ends are bigger and more athletic. The defensive linemen are more athletic. The corners are still athletic.
All right, man.
They're interchangeable.
The Jets, after flirting with Daniel Jeremiah, they ended up hiring a actual proven guy, Philly VP, player personnel as GM. You got to take her tangent on that.
Philly just won the Super Bowl, and if you look at the players on their roster and the depth, that's great. So hopefully they can help solidify the Jets. They already got their franchise quarterback, franchise running back. They need some receivers. They need some tight ends. Hopefully he can help clean that up and does a better job as GM. Because, man, it's not looking good for the Jets. They could easily ruin Sam Darnold, and that would be sad.
The Houston Texans fired their GM after 18 months. They were reportedly flirting with the Patriots, I guess, second in command of the scouting.
And the Patriots filed tampering charges against them.
So you got to take her tangent on that.
J.J. Watt was like, I just want to win, bro. I just want to win. He tweeted.
Man, honestly, tampering in sports is the most overrated thing because it's like all these dudes have the same agents, so
Yeah.
really you should be
Tampering
hitting
is
the
what
ages
John
with the
Gruden
tampering.
did, and all his coaches got the same. Whatever. Anyway,
And further, we all know how Houston's been trying to beat the Patriots for how long, and how long has it worked? Oh,
And-
it hasn't.
and not only that, they've been kind of failing with draft picks. Hopefully, they hit it off with this one. But also, Carson Wentz got paid. Deshaun Watson's going to get a monster contract when he gets paid.
All right, and then Jalen Ramsey reportedly won't get a contract extension despite him
He has 2 years.
pretty
left.
much demanding one since like last year.
He has 2 years left on his deal.
You got to take her attention on that.
He said on Twitter, I'm gonna ask for so much money they're gonna have to put me on layaway. And honestly, I don't see them keeping him. They're gonna trade him. And honestly, the Raiders should go for that trade. Or honestly, I think he would be a better safety than a corner. That's how great he is.
I mean, I think he could play either, honestly. I
Yeah,
think
he can lock down your corner, but if you got shitty corners and you just need a safety, I'm paying him safety money. And honestly, a safety probably gets more money than a corner.
damn,
A
man.
player of his level and caliber, because you know he can play safety, because he was an All-American safety and an All-American corner damn near.
I fuck with Kenny today. He's on time. He's not fucking around. He didn't come here to play no games. He came here to drink my Bud Light,
Wow.
talk his shit,
That trip to
and
the
get out of
Broad
here
re-
on time.
That trip to the Broad really got him shaped up.
We'll get to
Still,
that later in the
I'm hungry,
rants.
though,
Yeah.
still. We're stopping by Jack in the Box.
That's why this man is trying to get out of here.
hungry,
That's
bro.
why this man is not bullshit.
I had
He's
one
hungry.
time today,
The truth comes
and it was
out.
at like 3 o'clock. I was like, fam,
Who eats at 3 o'clock?
I was hungry. I didn't eat anything all day. We were at the Bro.
Drug dealers and degenerates. That's who.
First off, I'm not a degenerate. My mom
Debatable.
loves me. I'm a college graduate. Shut your mouth.
So are we.
Yeah. Literally everyone at the table.
We're all degenerates.
Yeah, you could sit at the table now. Shout out to you.
I will gladly take some of those. Shout out to Solange, a seat at the table.
All right, next
Thank
we got
you.
touchdown or turnover, man. And Andre Branch, former Dolphins defensive end, former Patriots defensive end, is visiting with the Cardinals. Is that a touchdown or turnover?
Eh.
It's a turnover, man. People really got to stop being the Patriots. Like, I'm so over it.
I mean, Sandra Bridge, he's a